Welcome back. This is the second video in a series on the Alabama marriage certificate. Now, I recognize that people get married every day of the week here in Alabama, but there are certain times of the year where marriage ceremonies take place here in the United States. And we are coming up on that spring time frame where there will be a number, probably hundreds of marriages taking place here in Alabama. And that is why I thought it would be a good idea to do videos about the Alabama marriage certificate to help prepare you as an Alabama commission notary for any requests that come to you to notarize this certificate. My name is Michelle Riley. I've been notarizing the Alabama marriage certificate since it became a new law, new process in 2019. Now, in the first video, we covered the background of how the Alabama marriage certificate even came about. We took a look at the actual marriage law, went over what changes took place, and then we spent time talking about the process, what the couple is expected to do, where they need to go to complete the form, then the notary's responsibility once they meet with the couple, what parts of the form they fill out versus what the couple fills out, and then what happens next after the Alabama marriage certificate has been completed, signed, and notarized. Well, in this video, we want to go a little deeper, and I'll be covering minors who want to get married and how the process for minors is a little different. Then I want to hop on the internet and go to the website for the Alabama Public Health Department and show you the different resources that are available on that website, not only for the couple, but also for Alabama notaries. And then we'll take a look at some sample Alabama marriage certificates that have been completed and notarized. And then if we have time, I do want to spend some time talking about the fees that notaries can charge and what the couple can expect to pay. Let's get started. What we learned in the first video is someone that is 15 years old or younger, they are unable to be legally married in the state of Alabama. But if they are age 16 or 17, they are able to get married as long as they have their parents' permission. And it doesn't have to be both parents. Alabama only requires one parent or a guardian to complete an affidavit form, have it signed and notarized to show their permission for the minor child to enter into marriage. And so here on the screen, you see that if both teenagers are either 16 or 17, then both of them needs one of their parents or a guardian to give permission to get married. The notarized affidavit is a separate form from the Alabama marriage certificate. It can be completed, signed, and notarized apart from the couple. So you as a notary, you don't have to meet with everyone at the same time. I prefer to do that, but it is not required. But what is required is when the couple, the teenagers, file their signed, notarized Alabama marriage certificate at the probate office, that affidavit with the parent's permission must accompany it. The affidavit for the parents requires the notary to administer an oath to the parent where they are swearing under penalty of perjury that they are the parent. They are also giving permission for their minor child or children to enter into marriage. I've only conducted probably about five marriages that involve minors. And a couple things, I do treat this type of notarization a little differently. One, I really want to be 150% sure that the teenager is entering into marriage willingly and knowingly. And this means there have been times, and most of the time, I ask the parent or the guardian to step out of the room so that I can have a one-on-one focused conversation with the teenager to reassure myself that this is something that they really want to do. The second uh, situation that can come up that makes a minor notarization different is identification. Now, I don't know about you, as soon as I turned 15 and could get my driver's permit, I did that. And then as soon as I turned 16, I had a driver's license. But that's not true for everyone. So you may run into a situation where the teenager lacks satisfactory ID. This is why, as soon as you are told that the couple getting married involves minors, you need to work out the ID situation before you schedule the meeting. I encourage the couple to just go ahead and go down to the DMV and apply for a Alabama state ID form. That's what I prefer to accept for minors. Now, there are some alternative forms of ID you can consider accepting. One, of course, is personal knowledge. If you, the notary, personally know the teenagers, then you don't have to request ID. But other than that, there are some other suggested forms of ID. I did a separate YouTube video about identifying signers. I want to encourage you to check it out. I don't have time to go into that detail now, but I don't want you to just assume that having a parent or the minor showing you a birth certificate is enough. Personally, myself, I require more than that. All right. So again, check out my video on identifying signers. You'll find some helpful information. I mentioned birth certificates. When I did my first notarization for minors, I thought about asking the parents giving permission to show me a birth certificate, but there is nothing in the marriage law that makes that a requirement. You can, however, in that oath that you administer, make sure you include that you are the parent in that oath. And I feel that that will be helpful. Should it be challenged later or said later that the person, the adult giving permission, was not the minor's or the teenager's parent. And of course, you are going to require ID for the parent or the guardian, like you would for any other type of notarization. If you have more questions about notarizing the signature of minors who want to get married, please put that in the comments below and I'll happily answer those questions. All right, that completes the minor discussion. Now I want to show you the website for AlabamaPublicHealth.gov. This is where the couple will go to start the Alabama marriage certificate form, to start filling it out. It is also where they should go if they have questions about the marriage process. And as Alabama Commission notaries, you need to spend time on this website because it contains a lot of helpful educational information. So let me pull that up for us now. I know for some of you, you're thinking, why the Alabama Public Health website for the marriage certificate? Well, the marriage certificate is considered a vital statistic document, and the Department of Public Health is the repository or the holder of vital statistic documents. So I encourage you, notaries, if the marriage certificate is a form you plan on notarizing, go ahead and bookmark or favorite this website, because changes have occurred since 2019 until now. And so you're going to want to come back to this website periodically to stay up to date. This is also the website you are going to give the couple when they call you and ask you if you can help them with the Alabama marriage certificate, and they may not even know the name of it. They may call it a marriage license, or they just might say, hey, we just got engaged, we want to get married, and we heard that we're going to need a notary to help us. Turn their attention to or direct them to AlabamaPublicHealth.gov. Tell them to scroll down to the purple section where it says apply for a birth, death, marriage, or divorce certificate. I know it sounds pretty intense. This is that link will direct them to the vital records page. And this is where they're going to click on the marriage certificate link. And this is where the learning begins. You will then direct them to how to complete a new marriage certificate. And we're going to take a peek at the adults, minors, and frequently asked questions. In fact, I want to start at the FAQ page. This is an excellent resource. It is a little out of date. In fact, right before I pressed record, I sent Alabama Department of Public Health an email because I saw some out-of-date information and asked them to update it. But as a notary who performs this type of notarization, I strongly encourage you to go over each of these questions and answers that are provided by the state. It is a great tutorial, not only for you, but for the couples. So again, when you're on the phone speaking with them, you're going to direct them to this website, tell them to read through frequently asked questions, and then tell them if they click on the link for adults, the form that they need to fill out will pop up, and then they can walk through it step by step. This is the form that the bride and groom, the groom and groom, the bride and bride must complete. It's a template. They fill it out starting here. If there's a drop down, they're going to drop down and select their title. Alabama does not care if a person identifies as a groom, as a bride, or other. And then it's very self-explanatory. I do feel if anyone does any online shopping, they should have no problem filling this out. Notice some fields are optional. There are some individuals who may not identify as a certain color or a certain race. And if they want to leave that section blank, they can. What I like about this form is if you overlook it, don't fill it out, and it is mandatory, you will get an error message. It will be highlighted in red, and then you need to go back and correct it. So spouse one, this information gets filled out. Spouse two fills it out. This form asks, are you a minor or not? If you check yes, then a secondary form will come up for completion. And again, once both sections have been completed, the person completing the form, if you look down near the bottom of the screen, you'll see that I'm circling print marriage form. And then a PDF version of the completed Alabama marriage certificate will come up for the couple to print and take to the appointment with the notary. Very straightforward. There are instructions at the top of the form. Stress with the couple to read the instructions carefully. Stress with the couple the importance of getting all of the information correct, because corrections cannot be made to the document after it has been printed. You just have to start over again, go back into the website, and then create a new form. After pressing print, this is the document that shows up for the couple. Looks very different from the template, doesn't it? I want to enlarge that a little bit. And notaries, you should tell the couple to go ahead and print 2 copies. It's a 1-page form. Tell them to print 2 copies. Don't do 2-sided, just 1-sided. And to take a moment to go through each section, each box, and make sure it is 100% correct. If they notice any typos, if they find out that their mother's maiden name is wrong, they need to go back to the website and complete another one. This is a form they cannot just cross through, initial, and handwrite the correct information. It will not be accepted by the probate office, nor will it be accepted by the Department of Public Health. Stress with the couple not to sign anything until they meet with you, the notary. And so again, the top section 1 is for couple, the one couple. Spouse number 2 is for the second couple. And then from affidavits of spouses on down to the Alabama notary signature areas, that is the notarial certificate. This is what we notaries are responsible for. And so when we meet with the signers, we're going to ask them to read the affidavit section, make sure they understand what it says. Then we're going to place them under oath. And then we are going to watch them sign their full name here and date it for the date that we are meeting with them. It does not matter that the date we're meeting with them is different from the ceremony date. Okay, if they're having a ceremony. This is where we apply our notary seal. We need to write in or stamp our commission expiration date. And then we need to sign our name as it appears on our commission and the date that we met with the signers. There are just additional instructions below our signature that are very important. And as notaries, I feel it's our responsibility to remind the couple of this. They have 30 days to file this with an Alabama county probate office. And then this section talks about what we already covered regarding minors. Now, what I didn't say, but is indicated here, is that it appears that if minors, let's say if a 16-year-old was married previously, got divorced, and is getting married again at age 17, they won't need the parental parents' permission. I've not run into that previously. So let me repeat. If the couple is under age 18 and one or both of them have already been married before, and this is their second marriage, they do not need permission from a parent or guardian to marry again. Notaries, neither you nor the couple should write anything in these boxes. It's for the probate court office only. And then I'm scrolling down. When the couple fills out that template form that we looked at a moment ago, this is where that information about their social security numbers, their contact information will show up. And the instruction sheet, the FAQ sheet, talks about what the couple should do if they do not have a social security number. So again, this is why it's important that you, the notary, go over those FAQs as well. And then finally, when this document prints, there will be 2 more pages with instructions. All right. So that the bride and groom, the groom and groom, the bride and bride, if they, have any additional questions, I'm sure they can get them answered by reading the instruction sheet and the FAQ sheet. Let's see if I can change pages or change documents. Bear with me for a moment. Great. I wanted to give you an example of what a signed and notarized Alabama marriage certificate looks like. The first thing I want to point out is that this section here, the header, I don't want you to think that's an issue, that your form is printing incorrectly. All of this white space is required because the probate office, when they file this, is going to fill it with some information. So don't change your printer sections to try to move this form up towards the top. That white space is required. All right, so here is a sample Alabama marriage certificate form that I dummied up. I applied some fake signatures. I just wanted you notaries to get a better idea of how it should look. So a couple things I want to call out. One, it does not matter what type of seal, notary seal you use. It can be the circular, the round seal, it can be an embosser, it can be an ink stamp, or if you have the rectangular notary seal, that's fine too. Notice the dates, the signature and the notarization dates are different between One Fine Dude and Drop Dead Gorgeous. It is okay for you, the notary, to meet with the groom on one day, the bride on another day. It is also okay for the bride to meet with one notary and the groom to meet with a different notary. Not an issue. Both notaries, however, must be commissioned in the state of Alabama. If they don't have an active commission on file, this form will not be processed. Notice there is no place to add a venue. State of Alabama, County of Montgomery. I used to add it in this section in box 27 or 28, but when I went to my county probate office and asked about it, they let me know it is not required, so I stopped doing that. Now, what I have heard from some notaries is that if they don't fill out, well, what I know for a fact, you must include your commission expiration date. What I've heard from some notaries is that the commission expiration date was part of their seal, so they did not add it here, and the marriage certificate was rejected. And so I need you to be mindful of that. It's a good idea if it's a good idea for you to go to your probate office, speak with the clerk there, and ask them, will they process and approve the Alabama marriage certificate if your commission expiration date is part of your seal and is not included here? As for me, I don't like taking chances with other people's things. And so, one, my expiration date is not part of my seal, but if it was, I would still just write it in where it asks for my commission expiration date. Remember to make all signatures legible. Was it this week? Yes, early this week, I filed a signed notarized marriage certificate for a couple. I'm going to talk about that in the next video. And the clerk had a couple of issues. Issue number one, the couple's signatures were not legible. And I mentioned it to the couple when they both signed. So, yes, at the signing table, I stopped when the first, I don't remember the husband, the bride, signed their name. I said, I'm not crazy about your signature. And I explained why. And I gave the couple the option to start over and use that second copy that I told them to bring to the signing ceremony. And the husband said he asked why. I said there's a possibility the clerk won't accept this. And he was willing to take that risk. And so then the wife, I was surprised, the bride, her signature was the same, just it looked like initials to me. However, when I compared their signatures on the certificate to their signatures on their ID, it was a match. And so that's why I went forward with the notarization and again with their agreement to move forward. I explained that not only to the clerk, but she funneled it up to her supervisor, and rightly so. She wasn't comfortable. And the head clerk agreed with me. The second thing I want to mention to you is that the notarization that I did earlier this week was for minors. Well, one of them was a minor. And the probate clerk had an issue with that. Well, I shouldn't say an issue, but had a little bit of an issue. Um, the couple had presented driver's license, but it wasn't from the state of Alabama. And so I explained to the clerk and the head clerk how I verify ID. I reassured them that because I was not familiar with what that particular state's ID looked like, that I used the ID checking guide, and I was confident that the IDs were correct. I'm sharing this with you so that you can anticipate questions that may come up for you when you were helping the couple out with the notarization and even possibly filing it with the probate office. And so the other thing that helped was, again, I'm speaking confidently with knowledge to reassure them. And they weren't just giving me or the couple a hard time. They understand that with this being a vital statistic document, there tends to be more, do I want to say propensity or the chances of fraud? And so thereby the questions. And then the three of us got into a conversation about some situations that have occurred there at the probate office involving minors with possible trafficking of minors. So again, this document, it's very important, notaries, that you understand the importance and the implications of the Alabama marriage certificate. just a quick peek. If the couple, one or both of the couples getting married are a minor, this is the affidavit form that will pop up, will be triggered, and will print along with the first form we looked at. And so in this scenario, because both sides have populated, it means both the groom, Kenneth Hasbro, is a minor, and Stephen Matthews, the bride, is a minor. And then below here are the type names of their parents authorizing or giving permission. And so in this situation, the parents are going to sign in box 40 and 41, and the notary will be notarizing Harry Johnson's signature and Barbie Joe's signature. Again, placing both of them under oath using an affirmation that they are the parent and they have permit and they are giving permission for their minor children to be married. And then finally, this sample of an Alabama marriage certificate is on the website. It's a great tutorial piece, especially because it gives an example of someone who has never been married before. Here's spouse number one, the groom, has never been married before, and so 0 shows up in box 8, and box 9 is blank. And spouse 2, the bride, Jane Doe, she's been married before, so we see number 1 in box 20. And the reason why her marriage ended. And we see that Jane was originally born in a different country. That's why I like this. It gives us several scenarios. Again, both John and Jane's signature. Here again, you're seeing the different dates, the seals, and 2 different notaries being used. And then you see, hopefully that's not too big, what the probate office adds to the instrument. And then at the bottom, you will see how again, the signer's personal information is noted. And just so you know, this is what the couple will receive. There will also be information printed up here by the probate office. What I'm getting at is some couples are under the impression that once the probate office processes the Alabama marriage certificate, they'll receive something that looks different from this, what's on the screen. But it isn't. It will be the same form, not the original. The probate office will keep the original and will just issue a black and white copy. Nothing fancy, formal, decorative at all. The last thing I'll say about this deals with when this form should be completed. This week, I received an email from a couple who is planning their marriage in December of 2025. And I am recording this video in May 2025. So first thing, I thank them for planning ahead And if I'm remembering correctly, I believe they reside in another state. And so they're just exploring their options. And what we're talking about right now is when should they come to get their Alabama marriage certificate signed and notarized with everything they have going on. And so one of the things I said to them, what they would like to have happen is that this gets signed and notarized as part of their wedding ceremony. And so I provided them with some options. I had to remind them wedding days can be stressful and that they could have this signed and notarized prior to the ceremony or after the ceremony. Yes, the implication is that legally, once this does get signed, notarized, and recorded, legally they're recognized as being married. And so if they're okay with their official marriage date being days before, weeks before, months before the ceremony, that's fine. Even later, if they want to do the ceremony first and then meet with the notary after the ceremony, then again, their legal marriage date would also coincide with that, as with when they meet with the notary. So keep that in mind. Um, Again, there are some marriages that go smoothly, ceremonies, and it's not an issue to incorporate this notarization with the ceremony, but I'm just like, why ask for that extra stress? Does everyone have their IDs? Um, Signing the journal. It's a lot. It can be a lot, but it's something for the notary or notaries and the couple to discuss and decide. Again, if you have questions about any of the sample Alabama marriage certificate, what gets typed, how it gets filled out, let me know in the comments below. That completes the walkthrough of the Alabama Public Health website and sample Alabama marriage certificate forms that have been completed. I hope you found that helpful. Now, I know I said that we would cover fees in this video, but I'm talked out and I don't want to run through the fees, race through the fees section. I know how important what to charge is that, notaries always have questions about fees, and I want to allow ample time to cover that. And so I'm going to cover fees in the third and final video in this series on the Alabama marriage certificate. So make sure you check it out, because in addition to covering the notary fees you can charge the couple, the fees that the couple will pay at the probate office, that video will also cover additional non-notary services you can potentially offer the bride and groom to help them with the most important day of their lives. The video will also touch on notary liability, how to advertise your services to couples, not only throughout Alabama, but the US of A, and then some very helpful resources. Again, if you have any questions about the Alabama Merit Certificate and would like more information, again, type them in the comments below. And then it would be helpful to me if you would become a subscriber to the channel. Go ahead and do that now if you don't mind. And don't forget video 1 to catch up, and then be on the lookout for the 3rd and final video. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.